Okay, guys, I wanted to make a video. A lot of guys had asked whether or not the Refine or Success software was really worth the upgrade, and how did I like practicing on the QED versus TGC or E6 or some of the other software. And I got to be honest and say I really like practicing on the QED software, especially after the last upgrade. So I thought I'd go through that and explain why. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got like 3 cameras going, and I've got my air keypad working. So I'm hoping all this will work. One of the, I'll probably say this over and over, but one of the reasons I really like the Unicore software is that you can practice just about any kind of shot, 2 or 3 different ways. I think it's just, any kind of scenario you can think of, there's probably 1 or 2 ways to practice it on the QED software. So I'm going to go through it and some of the tools and the things I like, and you guys can judge for yourself. Let's start off with the driving range. I like the Peak range. It's the new one, really good. And we'll just start off, just like we normally would on a regular range, and I'll show you some of the tools that you can use. So, here we are on the range. I'm going to go, you don't have to do this, I'm going to go over here and change this to an 8-iron because I want to show you later on in the shot history, how you can do that. Let's see, so here we are. So I'm going to hit a few shots, and you got your cameras, swing analysis, your ball impact, you got shot tracer. One of the things I like about the Unicore is that it leaves your ball tracers up there. I'm hacking it, but so you can kind of see how consistent you are or inconsistent you are. I'm going to hit a few shots just so you can see the history, functions, and so I'm pulling everything today, but okay. So some things that I really like. I like over here on the left. You see the shot dispersions. I like that. I like that I can go into history. I can look at the 3 shots. If I wanted to drop one out, I could, but so that I can get a decent averages down here at the bottom. You can go if you want to, see a particular shot. You can come in and see that again. Really, just great data. I don't know how you could get any better. To actually see the ball, see your swing. So I love that. Again, your shot history. I know most guys are probably more number orientated than I am, but you can see that. And personally, I like the way that the shot tracer stays up there. I can see my ball path. Obviously, I'm pulling everything this morning, but so this is your basic driving range. Now, what they've added that I really like, and again, here's how you can practice your drives, your full irons, your distances, and all that kind of stuff. But then, to add a little fun to it, they have added the approach segment, which again, you got all the same tools. That's something else I like. You can go in. I'm going to do this. I normally don't change my club, but just so that you can see that it gets picked up. You can go set your distance. I'm going to leave it at 150. And you're ready to hit. So let me hit a couple shots and then I've got a 9-iron. No wonder I'm hitting it short. Thought I hit that one pretty good. Now I've got an 8-iron. Let's hit one more just to prove that I can hit it. I love firing at the pin, sitting there hitting the green all day. Again, you've got the shot tracers, the shot dispersion over here. You can go into history if you want to do that. Same as you did on the driving range. One thing we didn't talk about is a new feature they added that I like is this mirror function. You can click on that and you get a live view on your camera, so you can sit here and check out your swing or confirm if you're doing something that you didn't think you were doing. So I like that. That's called the mirror function. It's right in there. So let's go back, and now we've done the driving range, the approach, shots, and now let's go to putting. I know we tend to overlook putting in a lot of guys just assume that since you're using a simulator, you can't really help your putting or anything like that. I don't think that's true with the Unicore. I think the Unicore, you can come in. I'm going to come in and set my distance at, let's just set it at 12 feet. Okay. And, I think with the overhead camera, the Unicore can help you in putting almost more than it can any other shot. So I'll show you what I mean if I'm putting. Okay, so if you look up on the screen, you can see I clearly pushed that a little bit. Let's look at that again. I mean, you can come in now, and I can go in both ways. I can look at my actual stroke. You see I pushed that on my real cup, and then I can slow that down. I can draw all the lines, do all that stuff that you want to do, and then I can also come in and look at that overhead shot and see that my club pushed it just a little bit. So, I think when it comes to helping your real golf, and I like that the tracer stays up there. So I've come up with another putt, and look at that. You can see I pulled it. The fact that I'm a bad putter, I can't blame that on the system, but all right, finally made one there. So that's putting. Now I'll show you later on, right on this particular putting module, it's straight putting. So this is all about your putting stroke and getting that in distance control. So, but I'll show you later on there, if you want to practice reading the greens and playing slopes and things, you can do that. So that's putting, or that's the last module here. So, on the driving range module, you actually have a full range, approach shots, and putting. So I'm going to get out of this, and we'll go through the short game complex next. Now the short game complex, again, you can do approach and you can do putting. Let's just do the, and you can do the evaluation mode is it's like a game, and you get points, etc. And then the competition mode is the same thing, but it allows you to add players. The practice mode, which is what I use mostly, and I really don't have this video to be way too long to go through everything, but I like this. Let's see, where am I at? Oh, I've been really practicing my chip shots, trying to save some strokes there. And one thing I found for me, and this is a great way that you can use the software. You may not have the same problems I have, but I think you'll see my thinking process on this. On chips, straightaway chips. Normally I'm one of those guys. Let me get a few balls. I'm normally one of those guys. The first thing I do is grab my lob wedge, right? And on a shot like this, that may not be the shot to do. If I start noticing the pros and the better players all hitting lower trajectory shots. But for example, but you can come on the QED. I've got a 56 wedge, so I'm going to use it. Got to hit the ball first. Hold on. Sometimes you just got to not count a shot. All right. So I'm going to hit a flop shot. I sculled that. See, this is why I shouldn't use. This is why I should not use this high lofted wedge. But I can sit here and practice, and I'm always coming up short, coming up long, sculling it. So, my teacher says I need to use a more less lofted club and do more of a bump and run. So if I come in with a 9-iron, this shot is much more of a just a back and forth putting stroke almost. With this is with a 9-iron. Much easier shot. So I've been playing around at different distances with different clubs, and I've kind of felt comfortable using a 9-iron from around 35 yards and just really doing more of a putting stroke. And my misses seem to not be as bad. And but anyway, it's something I'm still practicing, and it's something that the QED is real good at letting me do. All right, so anyway, that's chipping. And then, of course, you can come in and with the same, in the same module, say for example that you really wanted to practice some sand shots, or if you wanted to practice some shots where you had to hit over sand, you can come in and set your own shot like this. And now I've got a shot that I really do have to flop, so. So now I can come in and practice these little flop shots. Like that. Do a couple of those. So, you know, you can come in and you can play all day with that. You know, chip in, bump and runs, flop shots. The QED is going to pick up all those shots. It's going to let you, you know, just really practice what you want to practice. So that's excellent. This is part of the, again, the short game complex. Okay. Putting's the same way. I'm not going to go through putting, but you can do a practice mode, set up any putts you want. Again, you know, sky's the limit on that. So I'll try to. I don't want to go over the same things, but as I mentioned earlier, it's another way to practice putting or any shot that you want. All right, another thing they added that's pretty fun is this challenge. Again, this is, I would call this more of an approach or chipping game. It's a way to kind of keep you interested in practicing, and I'll just do a few shots until I Now this is a time thing, so you get 3 shots at each distance. You got to go pretty quickly. Got hit. Okay, so that's at 60 yards. Then you go 3 shots at 80, I think. Yeah, 80 yards. And this is really a fun game. A lot of guys like to come over and play this. Everything done. Then I think we do a 100-yard shot. Ooh. Man, I need to get it further. I thought that was past it. Well, that'll go past it. All right. And let me get and we have our last distances are at 120. Man, I need to get more distance. And my last shot. Chunk it up. So anyway, as you see, that's kind of a fun way to practice your short irons or chips. And that was new with the new addition or the new upgrade. And then I think the last thing I'm not going to really go through stroke play because we really were just talking about practicing. But here's the, of all those things that you've seen and that you can do, on top of all that, you can go to course practice. And in here, you can set up literally, any shot on any course that you want. And, wind, you just set up whatever you want and you can just go out here and hit the shot over and over again. And I'll show you the logistics of it real quick. So, for example, when you get ready to, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's go on the first hole. Didn't mean to do that, but so we you go to any hole that you want to go to, and let's say you want to set up a shot. You come up here to your, let's say I want to set up a shot over this sand. I always like to practice those shots. Okay. So that's telling me my distance. Let's just do that. Let's just move there and see how that looks. So there you got that shot. And again, you can sit here. You can sit here and practice this shot all day if you want. What have I got? 40. See, now here's a shot where I was telling you I think I can play these low trajectory 9-iron shots. So again, you got all your tools, everything comes with you, and you can sit here and play this shot all day. Now see, I want to try this one. If I go with an 8-iron, which I normally would never think of doing on this shot, but now since I'm on the QED, I can come over here and try the same swing with an 8-iron and see what the difference is, Look at that. That's what you learn from practicing different shots that the QED lets you do. Great example of that. So I would have never thought about using an 8-iron here. And even my misses, like that was a miss. by hitting that lower shot, look at how much better that is. So anyway, that's practicing on the QED. I think I've kind of gone over everything. You know, when you're practicing on the course, you can move to a different hole. I'm not even sure what this stuff is here. And not sure what I did on that. I think I'm just moving around. Change holes, do all that kind of stuff. So anyway, you can play around with it. But then go back to your menu. Exit. And I'm back to there. And again, I'm not going to go through stroke play. That's a whole another animal. I can tell you the stroke play has really greatly improved, and I think that if the Unicore guys can come up with scramble mode and online play mode, then you're really going to have a hard to beat software package. So anyway, that's pretty much how I practice the different practice tools I use on the Success software, which I believe is the same in the Refine software. So if you have any questions, you know, guys, just let me know.